Welcome to more Fanime. What's up, everybody? Today, we're going to be reviewing chapter 1101 of the One Piece manga. Oh yeah, I can't believe we are in the 1100s already, and we are still in that Kuma flashback, baby. It continues. It does continue, and it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. And, you know, I know that I've complained that the flashback is still continuing. But I'm glad that Oda's putting the detail in there. And we don't have to just fill in the blanks with our own, headcanon. Because, we could definitely do that. And we'd probably get from A to B just fine. But, Oda's given us the fine details. He sure is. We cut back to Goa Kingdom, and Kuma's there. You know how last week Kuma was showing up, and we saw Luffdog, 16-year-old Luffdog, adventuring, training to become a pirate. Probably the closest we've ever been to the actual beginning of the story in a flashback. So Kuma's there just watching, and he's having a flashback within a flashback of himself questioning why Dragon keeps coming back to the Goa Kingdom, and questioning there's this kid that's running around saying, "I'm Monkey D. Luffy," and he's like, Monkey D. Yeah, do you have a son here? Basically, he's throwing out there, do you have a family here in the Goa Kingdom? And our boy Dragon, as stoic as ever, is like, if you want to keep talking about my family, if you want to keep speaking about the words you're speaking, Kuma, you might as well kill me yourself. I can imagine that Dragon being played by a fucking, what's his name? Clint Eastwood type would work. It would work. Somebody in that realm of stoic badassery. If you want to keep talking, you might as well kill me yourself, Kuma. And Kuma's like, what do you mean? He's like, a son or a child is a father's or parent's biggest weakness. And Kuma's like, say no more. I get it. We all get it. Basically, he's saying, I care for Luffy. I deeply care for him. And if he was found out that he was my son, even though he's running around saying I'm Monkey D. Luffy, might be heard by the wrong person someday. Good thing he's in the middle of nowhere. If he found out and he was captured and used as a bargaining chip to get me to, give myself up, I probably would, because I love my child with my whole heart, even though I've never really, talked to him as an adult or in any way, shape, or form. But I love him. And I would protect him with all my heart. And now he's a badass, so I don't have to, because he's a god. But still, back then, he was willing, and he didn't want to get too close to Luffy. He just wanted to make sure he was okay, and that's pretty cool. We cut back from that flashback to Kuma in the current flashback, looking at Luffy fighting animals, training his butt off, using the Gum Gum Battle Axe. The same move that just defeated one of my favorite villains, my top two. Sorry, not Crocodile. Arlong. Yes, Arlong! The same move that took Arlong out. Luffy's here practicing, and Luffy's like, if I ever take on a villain that maybe would try and take one of my crewmates away, I would fight them, especially if it was like a creature of a fish type, a shark with a saw nose of sorts. If that ever happened, I would use this move. But until then, I'm going to save it for that. It's kind of cool, though, seeing Luffy training here. It shows us why Luffy was so prepared, at least for the East Blue. Because in the East Blue, he didn't seem like he had much challenge until he got to Arlong. And even with Arlong, he kind of fucked himself over by sticking his feet in the ground and getting thrown into the water. But once he got out, he very quickly figured out Arlong's shtick and took him down with the Gum Gum Battle Axe. So we cut back to the story, right? Kuma's watching like a little peeper man in the woods, and he gets a command from the world government. They're like, hey, we need you, because he's a government dog now, and he'll listen to them because he wants to protect Bonnie. We all know it. Luffy's like, what was that? And he's gone. He's like, oh man, it felt like there was some really strong being near me. I'm going to find him, and I'm going to beat him up, so I'm ready to be a pirate in a year. And he runs off. So really, him checking on Luffy, I guess, just was confirming that he might be the Nika because he's stretchy like rubber. I guess, maybe, possibly. I don't know. It kind of seemed like a stupid plot point that he was there watching him. I guess it sets up the idea that he was planning on helping Luffy and the Straw Hat crew way back then. Or at least Luffy in general, and depending on what he ends up doing, he was going to keep an eye on him for his boy dragon as long as he could until he got all memory erased and whatnot. So Kuma, he goes off and he's, doing all the things that the world government asks, but he's also being a nice guy about it. He's even helping the revolutionaries on his off time. The dude's working 9 to 5 and then 6 to midnight. He's going off. He doesn't really rest. He doesn't need to. Probably, because he's a cyborg. He probably only needs to sleep like 2 hours or something. Or maybe he just plugs in and charges his batteries. Maybe he can charge while working. He's just got a cord attached to him, running around saving revolutionaries. But he won't talk to them. And even Sabu is in this chapter, and he's like, why would Kuma do this? This doesn't make any sense. And Dragon's like, whatever Kuma wants to do, we're just going to let him do it. Let's calm down. I'm sure he'll tell us what's going on in the future. Dragon's like, well, let's just keep doing our thing. Kuma, he goes back to Vegapunk. Vegapunk's doing some modifications, some tune-ups. And he's like, you got about another year or so before you're done. By then, I'll have to wipe your memory, and you're going to basically be a cyborg like the rest of the pacifistas, and you will kill a child if the world government asks. And Kuma's like, okay, well, I'll just keep on writing my letters to Bonnie then, that aren't reaching Bonnie, by the way, because Alpha, who is presumed to be Caulifla's sister or mother of sorts, is just burning up every letter, 50 plus letters he's been sending to Bonnie, like burning them up, ripping them up, just destroying these letters, not even like saving them so she could find them later in some kind of cool moment. No, destroying everyone. Maybe he made copies, maybe Vegapunk has them. We can only hope. Fingers crossed. Either way, Kuma's been sending letters. Anytime he gets off time, he's sending a letter to Bonnie. He loves her, but she never gets them, and it's very sad. Oh, and we also see Stussy in the flashback at Vegapunk's island, kind of just like, it's kind of weird, you're becoming a cyborg, losing your humanity. I'm a clone, essentially never had humanity, and Vegapunk's like, you are human, I created you with the same shit. Shut up, Stussy. Whew. We get cut back to Bonnie. Bonnie's like, I don't like this. Where's my fucking letters? Daddy, I'm almost 10. I'm all healed up. She even tries to leave the church. She's like, I don't have the sapphire scale anymore. She doesn't even have the piercing. But Alpha, the bitch face, keeps saying, no. I will watch you until you are 10. And she's like, no, I should be able to go now because I am healed. Vegapunk said I would be healed by now. I feel great. The stones are gone. But no, Alpha says, no way, Jose. But Connie, the greatest grandmother of all time, is finally doing what she's meant to do. And she comes in and she tells Bonnie, we're going to switch clothes. I'm going to pretend I'm you. You're going to pretend you're me. She doesn't know about your ability, so I don't know how this is going to work. But either way, you can change yourself using your Devil Fruit ability, because you can change it based on however you really want to. As long as you concentrate hard enough, you're like, I want to be like Connie in a future where I could look like Connie as an old lady. So she becomes an old lady, and she puts on Connie's outfit, and she's like, well, I'm just going to head on out of here. Okay, Alpha, I'm going back to the castle. But before she leaves, Connie's like, here's your stuff. All those guys that help Kuma out, the boys, your uncles essentially, they're going to be your pirate crew. There's fishermen, shipwrights, they know their shit. Carpenters, cooks, they're really good at little tasks, but they're also good fighters. Them as your lefts and rights, they'll keep you alive, they'll keep you going, but you, Bonnie, you're going to be the leader because you got a cool devil fruit. So Bonnie's like, hey, I'm just Connie, just leaving here. Goodbye, Alpha. And Alpha's like, okay, bye. See you later, Connie. Good job ruling this shitty country. She keeps going. Fucking Alpha goes and checks, and she's like, what's going on? And Connie's there going, I'm Bonnie. How are you doing? I used my devil fruit that you didn't know about, that we just kept away from you, so this kind of works. She's like, shut up, you old prune. Bonnie's almost to the ship. She gets on the ship that looks like pizza because she loves pizza from the memories we saw last chapter. So she's on the ship with the crew of her uncles. And Alpha's like, no, you're not getting away from me. I'm part of CP8, baby. One of the greatest cipher pull agencies in the entire world. She's running, she's geppoing, she's skywalking, she's on her way, she's like choo, 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 in the air, and Bonnie's like, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? I need to be a leader as a 9-10-year-old. Bonnie's like, let's do this, and she uses her distorted future technique, which we're still not 100% sure how it works, but it's fucking broken as shit. And she remembers talking to Kuma, her daddy, going, what does Nika look like? And he's like, well, he's basically a superhero that has rubber-like body and he can do anything. So Bonnie's like, give me a Nika future where I ate the gum fruit. And or the Nika fruit, whatever. She jumps up, she grows older, and she makes a giant Gear's third fist and punches Alpha's lights out, baby. Essentially turning herself into Nika for a hot second. We don't know how long this ability lasts for, but it was enough to do one solid punch. Alpha went down. Oh yeah, and the chapter ends and Bonnie is victorious and the Bonnie Pirates, their crew begins. We get to see their fucking flag and everything, and they're on the high seas, baby! We now know that Bonnie is a child, but disguises herself as an adult because they don't know what she looks like, but she's still Bonnie, so they know that it's her. Jewelry Bonnie is born. This could be the end. This could be the end, people. We might finally be at the end of the Kuma flashback unless we get to see a little taste. And this is what I'm hoping for. Next chapter, because usually, he'll end the chapter cutting back to what we're currently doing in the main plot. So I have a feeling we might have half a chapter left of this backstory, maybe a whole, in chapter 1102. We're on a break next week, but listen here. What if the next thing we see in Kuma's flashback is right before he shows up at Thriller Bark, and some stuff behind, maybe his perspective when he's taking on the Straw Hat crew at Thriller Bark, and his perspective when he's blipping everybody around the world at Sabaody. I want that. I want to see what he's thinking when he still had a conscience. And then when he separates his memories into that bubble of pain that Bonnie took. We still haven't seen him do that. So those are things that Oda can weave into the final chapter of his flashback. Don't tell me you don't want to see nothing happen again. Because it'll happen like it never did. And we're going to see him give the pain to Zoro again, but from another angle. I like it. I like it a lot. We might get Kuma's thoughts on the rest of the Straw Hat crew, not just Luffy. I'm here for it. I am. I like Kuma. He's a character that could have his own book. That's the best part about One Piece. Is all the little side characters, all the warlords at least, all the emperors, all the brothers of Luffy, every one of those characters, villain, good guy, in between, cipher pole, doesn't matter. They're all so well fleshed out that they could have their own flashback. They can have their own little book story about their lives, and we would be entertained because we're the fans of the One Piece manga and we love it. 1102 is 2 weeks away. And I'm excited for it. I'm so excited to get back to the main plot, people. Are we going to see our boy Lucci versus Zoro actually happen on the panel, or is it going to be cut out? I think it's going to be cut out. It's really sad. What's going to happen to Kaku? Is Brook going to do anything in this arc at all? Or is he just kind of there? Poor Brook. Is he just waiting for his Laboon moment? Is Jinbei going to do anything but pack the ship? Is Sanji going to do anything more badass than he already has? We know Zoro's doing cool stuff. He's already done a couple cool things. Luffy's Gear 5'd it up in this arc. I think he's kind of done. Borsalino, is he getting to get back up? Who's going to survive? Is Kuma going to show up and save the fucking day and probably self-destruct and let the crew get away? Probably. Kuma's probably going to die. If Oda really wanted to throw us off, Kuma would survive and travel with the Straw Hats for a hot minute. That would be insane. That would blow my mind. I don't think he's going to make it that far. He's pretty beat up. I think that Oda has some really cool shit in his back pocket, and he's waiting, he's saving it for a rainy day, he will, and he's gonna blow us away before the end of this year. Whew. This is More Fanime. This is my review on chapter 1101. I'll talk to you later.